Hi, I'm Joe Silva, and I help entrepreneurs build their team, create systems, and the identity behind being that CEO for their business. I joined Laurie-Ann's program because I have always enjoyed speaking and felt comfortable doing it. The reason I joined the program is because it was a little intimidating to think of myself as a speaker. I had a lot of doubt and I had a lot of ideas in my mind and a lot of things to share, of course, as a lot of entrepreneurs do. I didn't know how to put that into a concise, tight fit for something like a speech. Knowing Laurie-Ann was an expert in the field and has for years and years and years of experience doing this, thought what better way to learn than to learn from the best. After going through Laurie-Ann's program, I have this structure that I can use really anytime I need it in order to give the speech. Number two is I have the confidence to approach organizations and say, hey, I can give a speech. It's coherent, it's concise, it's a consistent message, and the format is one that I know is solid because it's what Laurie-Ann teaches. So highly recommend to get your message out there. Recommend Laurie-Ann as your go-to. She's the expert. So use the expert, go to the best, learn from the best, and you'll be glad you did.
Welcome back to another episode of Public Speaking Monetization Tips. I am your host, Laurie-Ann Mirabito, and I'm so glad that you're here. You made it to the final episode of this limited series podcast, and that says a lot about who you are as a person. You're the kind of person who finishes what they start, and you also value learning. And you obviously understand the power that public speaking can have on you and your business. So congratulations. Not only did you invest your time to learn how to use your voice, your message, and your story to attract clients, but you're also building credibility and you're growing your business in a way that feels aligned and authentic for you. And as we wrap up this series, I want to make sure that you don't fall into the same traps that most speakers do, even the really smart, talented ones, because speaking is so powerful when you do it right. And when you try to figure it out all on your own, it looks easy when you're in the audience. But there's so much that's actually going on behind the scenes. And I don't want mistakes costing you clients, confidence, or credibility. So today I want to pull back the curtain on 7 of the biggest mistakes that I see speakers make. And more importantly, these are the mistakes that are actually disconnecting you from the audience. And as a result of that, you're not getting the results that you want from speaking. Now, are there more mistakes that I could be sharing with you? Absolutely, yes. But these 7 are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. Ready? Well, let's start with number 1. Over delivering too much information. You try to give everything that you know in one talk, sharing every tip and story and framework. You want to make sure it's valuable. And I get it because I've done this also. But what happens is you overwhelm your audience. And when you overwhelm your audience, they don't do anything. They actually end up leaving thinking, wow, that was a lot of information. And I actually had somebody say to me, I'm not sure where to start. So if your audience isn't taking action or you don't see any sales calls on your calendar, I want you to remember, confused people don't buy. So that can be one of the reasons why you're not seeing any sales. Mistake number 2, you do not sound or feel confident. And here is something that most speakers forget. Your audience is making snap judgments about you within the first few seconds, within the first few words that come out of your mouth. Your audience has already decided if they trust you or not. So I don't want you to be like a crescendo that starts off softly and then builds up. I want your voice to sound certain and not uncertain. I want your energy to be worth listening to and not low and unsure and maybe shaky. Confidence isn't an option. It actually adds to your credibility. It sends this message to the audience that you are an authority, that they should continue listening to you because you know your stuff. You can have the best content in the world, but if it doesn't feel like you believe it, your audience won't either. Mistake number 3, there is no clear through line in your presentation. Now, this can be a little bit of a sneaky one, and this is why inside of in-demand signature speech, I actually talk about there's 2 foundational questions, and I actually talked about them earlier in this series. You've got stories, stats, and different examples, but they're not connected by a single clear message. Your job as the speaker is to get your audience from point A to point B. And that's why you have to decide what that point A and point B is. So here's my analogy. It's like giving your audience a bunch of puzzle pieces and no picture on the box. They have no idea what they're actually going to be building. They might really enjoy your stories, but they won't walk away remembering the point. And that's what I want you to avoid. And that's why having a proven framework will change everything, because clarity doesn't happen by accident. You've got to have the roadmap ahead of time so that your audience knows what to do. Mistake number 4, you are speaking like a teacher, like a college professor is what I like to say. You want to help them. So you start teaching, you go into teacher mode, you explain, you educate. There's lots of facts that they need to be writing down. But here's the thing, as a teacher, as a college professor, you are there to inform them. If you are being a leader, leading with your voice, you are influencing your audience. So you're not just there to give information, you're also there to create a transformation. That is why meeting planners hire speakers, is for the transformation. That's why coaches bring in guest speakers into their high-end masterminds, into their programs. It is to create a transformation for their people. And when you do that right, the audience doesn't just take notes, they take action afterwards. And that's the whole point of using speaking as your best form of marketing. And that's why speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. Mistake number 5, there is no clear call to action. You wrap up your talk, the crowd claps, and then they say thank you, and then they walk away. And you're wondering why nobody booked a call? Why nobody might have signed up for your lead magnet? It's probably because you either 1, didn't ask, didn't make the offer, or 2, you breezed over it so fast. This also brings a little bit of that confidence in. You have got to believe that this lead magnet is the very next best thing. It's the next best step for this audience to take. Your audience really wants to know what to do next. And this is how you build relationships with people. This is how you stay connected with your audience. You have to share with them what the very next step is. And when you skip over this, you're leaving connection and clients on the table. Okay, moving on here. Mistake number 6, skipping the pre and the post talk work. Now, this is something that I don't want you to wait years to figure out on your own. Because when you have a pre-event and a post-event process, it makes you look like a pro. This is you treating your talk like a one-time performance instead of part of your business strategy. So many people think, including speakers and even some meeting planners if they're volunteers, that all you have to do is just show up at the designated date, time, place, location, and just do your thing. What most people don't know is that there is stuff that pros do. And even though you are using speaking to showcase your expertise, I still want you to come across as a professional. So there is pre-work, pre-meetings that you want to have. Because remember, you are building relationships with meeting planners and those coaches with programs. This is how you leverage one talk into other bookings. And most people skip this part entirely, which is why they're always chasing the next stage instead of compounding the results from the last stage. And your post-event process, that's also where you're getting testimonials and referrals. Do not skip having a pre and a post-event process. And the last mistake I want to share with you is thinking that the speech is the goal. And this is a big one. So many people think, oh, if I can just get on that stage, I win. But the real win really happens because of the stage. What happens after the stage? I'm going to go back to relationships because speaking isn't just about a performance on stage, it's about positioning you as the expert. It's your most powerful marketing strategy when you do it with intention. And when you don't have a system to turn your talk into clients and credibility, you end up collecting fun memories instead of opportunities. So the goal is not to get on that stage, but the goal is to get on that stage and serve that audience. Serve those meeting planners, conference organizers, coaches, program organizers. That's your goal because that is the door to the opportunity to building relationships, not only with the people who brought you in, but with the audience. Because remember, speaking is the gift that keeps on giving. So do you recognize yourself in one or maybe two of these mistakes? Hey, you're not alone. I have done all of these things. And that's why I'm sharing them with you. In my 25 years of experience speaking, I want to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I made because I had to figure this all out on my own. And this is exactly what I help my clients and my students do, turn their message into a magnetic signature speech that brings in clients, credibility, and cash. Because you can't coach yourself through your own blind spots. You need a framework. You need to have feedback. You need someone who knows exactly what works. So if you are ready to go from invisible to in demand, I want you to check out the link below in the show notes. There is a link and a coupon code for the in-demand signature speech Start Anytime program, or you can book a call with me if you're unsure what to do, and we will map out your next steps together. You have a message. Now it's time that the world hears it. Thank you so much for being a part of this limited series, for showing up, for listening, for finishing, and for believing in what's possible for you when you start speaking. And when you do get booked, please reach out to me. Send me a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn. I would love to hear about your success. Until next time, I want you to be in demand.